question, a situation. What happens if one person is arrested, has a green card, and he was a petitioner of the family? That family is affected too?
The question is, if a person is arrested and he was the petitioner for the entire family, and he was arrested for a crime, is the family going to be affected given the fact that he was the petitioner?
Angela? I mean, you go ahead. I mean, it's gonna.
Either one.
So if the family's already so if the family's already here and gotten green cards, then it shouldn't impact that at all.
But you're saying they don't have a green card yet.
If they don't have a green card yet, then it depends what happens with his immigration
case. You have to
case.
see what happens to his case.
If he gets deported, that means they would take away his green card, so then that would impact the family.
Sir?
I'm wondering about the risks associated with leaving the country, say, to visit family, marriage, or funeral, in the midst of a green card application. I'm specifically thinking about the I-131 form, in my case, which would be a green card by marriage.
Okay.
So asking about the risks associated with being able to come back to America after leaving.
So I think that you're not asking about the risks of travel with, say, an open criminal case or with criminal convictions, but you're asking if you have an adjustment of status or a green card application pending and it hasn't been approved and you want to travel. You have to ask CIS for what's known as advanced parole, and you have to ask them for permission to travel. Everybody is going to then give you the proviso for the warning that CBP doesn't have, or the Customs and Border Protection doesn't have to honor that advanced parole. But if your application is otherwise very much in order, you would expect that advanced parole to result in your admission to the United States.
But if you have an open criminal case or a past criminal case, you should not travel before talking to a lawyer or calling our hotline.
Other questions? This gentleman up here. Go to your left. If you can pass this back.
I have withholding of moral status. I have no crime. Can I be able to apply for green card?
What kind of status?
Withholding of removal.
What? Depends on what it is. Depends on under what basis you have withholding of removal.
Same as
I'm sorry?
It's withholding of removal. Like they can't.
But under what basis? It depends on what basis it is.
Why don't you talk to either me or Angela
afterwards?
We can give you.
You know, let's try and keep our questions. If it's very individual, we'll be up here to come and answer those, because then we have to ask follow-up questions, and we would rather have people from the audience be able to ask more general questions that could really benefit the larger group. So we would be more than happy to speak to you afterwards.
Hello, good afternoon. What I would like to know, sometime at the courthouse, they said this is a violation. Violation is not a crime. And I know someone who's pleaded to a violation. And what I want to know if the violation is going to affect the immigration status. Because it was a misdemeanor, but they beat the case to a violation. What I want to know if there is a difference between violation and a misdemeanor, and if a violation is really a crime.
You see the immigration law doesn't make the distinction between a violation. They don't see it that way. It's just whether or not that the behavior falls into a ground of deportability or inadmissibility. In New York, we have two basic violations: the harassment violation and disorderly conduct, and the marijuana violation, and also unlicensed driving. But the disorderly conduct does not fit into a ground of deportability. But the harassment violation, there's different schools of thought on whether or not that does fall into a ground of removability. So you want to consult with a lawyer before you make any applications or travel. If it's a harassment violation versus a disorderly conduct, the disorderly conduct is the much, much safer plea. Okay, we can talk after.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a central database where people can find out if their names is being held up by, is it immigration, whether they did an offense that is deportable, or where attorneys can check it, for you to make sure that, oh, if you get in trouble, you won't be deported? Is there a database where they have all these names?
So there's an 800 number, a free number that you can call. I'll give it out, but you can also contact me. It's 1-800-898-7180. That's 1-800-898-7180. And you can put in, if you have an A number, an alien number, you can put it in to find out if you have any old deportation order against you. So that, like when I mentioned, some people sometimes have one and they don't know because they can give you can get a deportation order without ever showing up to court. So that's a way to check for that, but that won't tell you if you're currently deportable. And you can access your immigration file by filing what's called a Freedom of Information Act request. Do you guys help people do that?
Yeah, we do. Our organization at Northern Manhattan Coalition for Immigrant Rights, we do FOIA requests. Many times we have people come in who don't have the full history of their status or what interactions they've had with immigration. So we will submit a request. That way we have all the information and then we know what to do next.
All right, this is going to be our last question because we need to wrap up. Ma'am?
Yeah, my question is this. Say a person gets arrested by the police. They take them in, they spend a couple days in jail. They let them out on their own recognizance, and then they set a trial. They go to trial. They are advised to take a plea. They have a green card, and they go to their trial date. And the end result is that originally they were arrested and charged with 4 different charges. All of them were aggravated, and they deal with domestic and everything in line with that. But when they went to the trial and went before the judge, they brought it down to misdemeanor with disorderly conduct with a year probation. My question is that a deportable action, the way immigration looks at it, and also with the probation, do they have to get permission before they travel back to their country or etc.?
Okay, so it's a little unclear. You see, I don't have all the facts, so it would be bad of me to advise you with regard to the facts presented, but I am very happy to talk to you after.
Okay, so a couple of things. So we are at 1 o'clock, and this is the end of our program. I'm going to ask you all to stay here for a few minutes, understanding that we are short on time. First, let's give a big round of applause to our panelists. If you have, once again, to our interpreters, please stand up. To Rachel, to Natasha, thank you so much. If you have, and where's Vicente? Where's Vicente? He'll come in a second. If you have one of these pieces, understand this equipment is very expensive. Okay, and for us to be able to do this again, please make sure to turn in the equipment when you leave. Also, please help us. I know some of you came with cups and stuff inside, even though you weren't supposed to. This is an incredible community space. Can you please look around you? If you see some trash, even if it's not your own, help us with this. And